My wife's family treated me badly. They left me alone at dinner during their vacation. My name is Zach. I'm 34 years old. I'm a mechanic. Not one of those TV shows about restoring old-timers. Just a regular guy with dirt under his fingernails and motor oil in his blood. My wife is Melissa, 31 years old. And her family? A real zoo. And not the cute kind with pandas. More like a cage with monkeys throwing shit. We were together for 7 years. Married for 5. Everything was more or less fine until that family vacation in Florida. Her father is an alpha dog, a former military man who likes to be in charge, even when he just orders coffee. Her mother is a typical passive-aggressive conspirator. And her sister, Sarah, is a typical, "I'm the queen of TikTok, look how I look in my swimsuit today" leech. I thought, maybe this is a chance to relax a bit. Beach, barbecue, new memories. Well, there will definitely be memories. Just not the ones I had planned. It all started with a little thing. I was not included in the group chat with plans for the day. Then my towel disappeared from the pool terrace. It turned out that Sarah had borrowed it because she was comfortable. Okay, it was nothing. But that evening, it became a point of no return. We were in a restaurant, a fancy place on the ocean. Lanterns, seafood, the same shitty crab legs I was waiting for. I was 10 minutes late because I had to take Melissa's son to the pharmacy. The kid was teething and screaming like a siren. When I arrived, the table was empty. Not a single person was there. Only my chair stood there, as if mocking me, and the menu on it. I look around, thinking, maybe they went to the restroom or moved the table. But the waiter confirmed, "Your company said you weren't coming and asked us to vacate the table." Really? I'm not coming? To a restaurant where I had booked a table? I immediately texted Melissa. "Where are you?" She answered in 20 minutes. "Oh, we decided to go somewhere else. You were busy anyway." Exploding head. I was sitting there like a nail. Not because I missed dinner, but because I was just crossed out, like some kind of garbage. I returned to the hotel, and they were already sitting in the lobby, laughing. Melissa waved her hand. "No offense, it's just dinner." Just dinner? Her mother's gaze was as cold as an ice cream freezer. Her father didn't even turn around. Sarah winked like a girl who had just won some stupid TikTok challenge. I knew one thing. This story would not end like that. So yeah, they left me sitting there alone like a stray dog. You know what the worst part was? Not the embarrassment, not the looks I got from the hostess or the other diners, no. It was the realization that my wife, the woman I'd sacrificed so damn much for, didn't think I was even worth a text before ditching me. The next morning, I woke up early. Couldn't sleep. My head was spinning, my stomach was a knot, and my pride was bleeding all over the hotel bedsheets. I sat out on the balcony, watching the waves, and I made a choice. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to whine. I wasn't even going to ask why. I was going to get even. Now, this wasn't about some dumb prank or blowing up the group chat. I wanted something calculated. Petty, yes, but sharp. Like revenge sushi, cold, pretty, and likely to cause some serious discomfort after digestion. And let me tell you, the opportunity came faster than expected. That afternoon, Melissa and her family were heading out for some boating and wine tasting thing. Of course, I wasn't invited. I told them I was going to stay behind, maybe hit the hotel gym or chill at the bar. They didn't care. Her dad just grunted, and her mom fake smiled like I was a cashier at Walmart she wasn't planning to tip. So I stayed behind, but not to rest. I walked straight to the front desk. With the smoothest, most confident voice I could manage, I said, "Hi, I'm Zachary Jennings. I booked our rooms, and I'd like to adjust some things on the master account. We're having some family separation issues." The guy at the desk gave me a look like he half expected me to cry. I didn't. I smiled. "All charges for room 406 and 408. My in-laws and sister-in-law. Remove them from the shared tab. Make them pay separately. Only room 404, mine, stays on my card." He nodded slowly. "Would you like to leave a note on their account, sir?" I grinned. "Absolutely. Just right. Room privileges updated per guest request. See front desk for billing." Oh, but I wasn't done. Next, I call housekeeping. "Hi, there's been a mix-up. Room 408, my sister-in-law, accidentally checked in under my name. She's allergic to lilies, and there were lilies in the room. Can you send someone to replace the flowers with fake plastic ones? No one's allergic to lilies, but I knew Sarah was obsessed with her aesthetic. She'd posted like 5 Instagram stories about how natural flowers complete her goddess vibe. By the time they got back, sweaty and buzzed off cheap rose, they were greeted with billing confusion at the desk, a note on their accounts, and in Sarah's room, a bouquet of tacky, sun-faded plastic flowers like something from a dollar store funeral. I sat at the bar, sipping bourbon, watching from a distance as the 3 of them argued with the concierge like they were contestants on some rejected reality show. Melissa finally came over to me, red in the face. What the hell is going on? I looked at her, dead serious. You ditched me last night. I figured I'd return the favor, just with a bit more style. She blinked. That's so immature. I leaned in and smiled. No, babe. Immature would have been peeing in your shampoo or locking you out of your room. This is foreplay. Her jaw dropped. And for the first time in a long time, I saw it. Uncertainty. Like maybe, just maybe, she realized I wasn't the quiet pushover she thought she married. She turned on her heel and stormed off. But trust me, that was just the warm-up. After the lobby showdown, Melissa didn't talk to me for the rest of the evening. Not a text, not a knock, nothing. Her family kept throwing me glances like I drop-kicked a puppy or pissed in the hotel pool. But I just smiled. Let them stew. The longer they were quiet, the better I could plot. That night, I decided to treat myself to a proper meal. Not the family-style misery buffet I'd been enduring for 4 days. I'm talking full-on, cloth napkins, overpriced appetizers, and a steak that bleeds just right. But I wasn't about to eat alone again. So I walked into the hotel bar, looked around, and spotted a group of 4, 2 couples, mid-30s, loud laughs, clearly on vacation. The kind of people who turn any room into a party within 5 minutes. I slid up to the bar near them, ordered a drink, and let them pull me into conversation. Turns out, they were from Ohio, celebrating 2 anniversaries. When they found out I was alone, they invited me to join them at dinner like we were old friends. I told them the truth, well, my version of it. My wife ditched me with her psycho family. They left me at dinner last night. I decided not to be a doormat anymore. The guys fist bumped me. The women gave me the sympathetic but deadly, you deserve better nod. We ended up reserving a beachside table. Ironically, at the exact same restaurant where I'd been ditched the night before. Poetic? Oh, absolutely. Now here's where it gets spicy. We sit down. Drinks flow. Laughter rolls. The waitress? She's very friendly. I'm not flirting. Not really. But she's clearly enjoying the table. At one point, she leans in and says, "Hey, you were here last night, right? Alone?" "Yeah," I say with a chuckle. "Upgraded tonight, huh?" She grins. "Big time." Guess who walks by while she's mid-laugh at my table? Melissa and her family. I saw them out of the corner of my eye. All of them. Frozen. Her dad looked like he bit into a lemon. Her mom clutched her purse tighter, like I was about to rob her of her pearls and last shred of control. Sarah, of course, had her phone out, probably filming it for TikTok with a caption like "When your bureau-in-law goes full villain." Melissa? She just stared. I raised my glass in a silent toast and turned back to my table. The best part? When the bill came, the guy next to me, Mike I think, winked and said, "Dude, dinner's on us. You've been through hell. Least we can do." I protested for about 10 seconds, but then let him. Not out of pride. Out of pure, unfiltered spite. Because now I had witnesses. Normal, happy, decent people who saw me not as the villain, but as the guy crawling out of toxic mess. That night, Melissa texted me. "Melissa, what the F asterisk 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 are you doing?" "Me? Just dinner. Not with people who hate me, though. Highly recommend." "Melissa, you're acting like a child." "Me? And you're acting like I'm still your puppet." "You left me." So I left the table. The next morning, the energy was off. They didn't even sit near me at breakfast. Fine by me. I was already planning my next move, the one that would really crack their porcelain image of control. And it started with one little booking for one extra hotel guest. But we'll get to that. You ever do something so petty, so precise, so perfectly timed that you're actually impressed with yourself? Yeah, that was me after I booked a flight for someone very special. Let me back up a bit. The night after dinner with the Ohio crew, I lay on my hotel bed, scrolling through photos, grinning like an idiot. I should have been pissed. I should have been broken. But instead, I felt alive, like I'd finally snapped out of fog I'd been stuck in for years. And then, out of nowhere, just popped up on my feed. Jess was a friend. Nothing more. We met back in college when I was still pretending that accounting was my future. We'd kept in touch loosely over the years. She'd send me memes. I'd react to her workout pics. No flirtation, no weirdness. Just two people who got each other, even if our lives went in different directions. Until now, I saw a story she posted, bored out of my mind. I need a vacation, or a reason to punch someone. I replied, how about both? She laughed. I didn't. I straight up sent her my location and said, dead serious. I'll cover the ticket. Just need you to show up, look fire, and drink cocktails with me in front of the most passive-aggressive people on earth. She called me 5 minutes later. Jess, you serious? Me. I've never been more serious in my life. Jess, what were we telling your wife? Me, nothing. She stopped caring the second she left me alone at that restaurant. She arrived 2 days later. Now listen, this wasn't about romance. Not yet. This was about sending a message. A loud, undeniable, cocktail in hand, sun hatch wearing, don't you dare look away message. Jess stepped off that shuttle looking like karma in sunglasses. Long legs, killer smile, energy that said, try me, when she walked through the hotel lobby with me. Arm in arm, the reactions were glorious. Melissa's mom literally dropped her drink. Her dad looked ready to explode, clenched jaw, fists tight, military mode engaged. And Sarah? I swear she live-streamed the whole thing. Hashtag disaster incoming. Melissa caught me later in the hallway. Melissa, who is that? Me. Her name's Jess. Melissa, you invited some random chick here? Are you cheating on me? I laughed. Loudly. Me? Cheating? Babe, we're practically roommates. You've been ghosting me this whole trip. I figure I'd hang out with someone who actually likes me. Melissa, this is disgusting. You're disgusting. Me. Say it louder. Maybe your dad will finally high-five you for getting the last word. She stormed off. Jess and I, we hit the beach bar. We toasted to toxic in-laws. We danced to terrible music. And later that night, she posted a selfie with me and the caption, vacation upgrade. Did I sleep with her? Not yet. That's not the point. The point was, Melissa was unraveling. The Queen of Ice was cracking, and her court was losing their minds. And the best part? I hadn't even pulled my final card yet, because there was one more thing, a secret I kept for months, and I was about to detonate it in front of everyone. Let's rewind about 3 months. Before the vacation, before Jess, before the public restaurant humiliation. Melissa was acting weird. Not the usual I'm stressed at work. Kind of weird. No, this was putting her phone face down 24/7, leaving the room for every text, suddenly getting into yoga with a coworker named Eli, kind of weird. Yeah, that kind. Now, I'm not a paranoid guy. At least I wasn't. But when your wife starts guarding her phone like it's nuclear launch codes, you start paying attention. I didn't snoop, though. Not then. I gave her space. Benefit of the doubt. Because that's what husbands do, right? But one day, she borrowed my laptop to order something off Amazon. Forgot to log out. Later, when I opened the browser, her email was still open in another tab. And curiosity? Well, it finally outran my self-respect. I saw one email thread, flagged, starred, and labeled private. Subject line? I know I said we'd wait until after the trip. My stomach flipped. I clicked. And that's when my whole ing reality broke. The emails were between Melissa and Eli, her co-worker, her harmless yoga buddy. Turns out this trip to Florida was more than just a family getaway. It was her trial run, a test to see if she could spend a whole week around me while mentally detaching, so she could leave me cleanly when we got home. She literally wrote, I want to see how it feels to not be emotionally tied to him anymore. I think if I can get through this trip without feeling guilty, I'll know I'm ready. Eli's response? Proud of you, babe. Just keep smiling. Soon you'll be free. And maybe I'll be waiting on the other side of it all. I remember sitting in the garage that night, holding a beer, staring at the wall. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even break anything. I just froze. Because you never expect betrayal to sound so calm, so surgical, like she wasn't talking about marriage, but a subscription she was canceling. I saved the emails, backed them up to a private folder, took screenshots, forwarded them to myself. Every last word. And then, I said nothing. I let the vacation happen. I let her plan it, smile through it, pretend. I waited, because now I had nuclear-grade ammunition, and I wasn't going to waste it on some passive-aggressive jab in a hotel hallway. No, I was going to wait for the right moment. In public, with witnesses, with Jess at my side, because if Melissa wanted to perform, I was going to give her a damn stage. And guess what? That opportunity? It came faster than I ever expected. A family dinner. One last group meal before the end of the trip. They made a reservation for 9. They didn't invite me, but I was already 2 steps ahead. They booked it at a classy beachfront place, the kind of restaurant with valet parking and jazz playing in the background, where waiters wear ties and the water cost $9. I only found out about the dinner because I overheard Sarah bragging about it on the phone with someone. Family dinner. No drama this time, she said. Zach's not invited. She sounded so smug, I could practically smell the perfume of condescension through the hotel walls. Perfect. I texted Jess. We're crashing at dinner tonight. Dressed like vengeance. Her reply? Already did my nails. Blood red. 7:25 p.m., 15 minutes before their reservation. Jess and I walked into the restaurant hand in hand. She wore this long black dress that shimmered when she moved, hair slicked back, lipstick bold and unapologetic. I wore a navy blazer, white shirt open at the collar, and the smirk of a man who knows everything. The host greeted me like we were old friends. Mr. Jennings, are you joining your party? Actually, I said with a grin, we'll be sitting next to them. Surprise. And just like that, Jess and I were seated at a table right beside the one Melissa and her family had reserved. You should have seen their faces as we were led past them. Sarah dropped her menu. Melissa froze mid-sip. Her dad clenched his jaw so hard I thought he'd crack a molar. Jess, goddess that she is, gave a polite little wave. Hey, y'all. Lovely evening. We ordered drinks, laughed, took a few selfies. Meanwhile, I kept an ear on their table. Melissa's mom kept whispering to her like they were plotting an exorcism. But I didn't care, because then came the moment. Right before the entrees were served, I stood up, walked over, held up my glass. Sorry to interrupt, I said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. Just wanted to offer a toast. Melissa blinked. Zach, what are you? No. I insist, I said, then looked her dead in the eyes. To emotional clarity, to loyalty, to discovering who people really are when they think no one's watching. Her mom gasped. Her dad muttered, Zach, sit down. I didn't. I pulled out my phone and tapped it twice. Airdropped a file named Melissa's Freedom Plan.pdf to every single iPhone at their table. The ones who had AirDrop on, they all got it. I watched the phones light up like fireworks. I watched Sarah's jaw unhinge like a cartoon character. Melissa's dad actually asked out loud, what the hell is this? I looked straight at Melissa. That's the email thread between you and Eli. You remember Eli, right? Your yoga buddy? Your emotional support lover. She went white. You said you were testing out detachment this trip. You said if it went well, you'd leave me. Just needed to see if you could fake it long enough to walk away clean. Silence. The whole restaurant was watching now. I felt zero shame. Less than zero. Jess sipped her wine. Calm. Poised. Loving it. I figured if you wanted detachment, I said, I'd help you along. Here's a head start. Melissa stood up, but her legs were shaking. She looked at her family. At her dad. At her mom. Even they looked unsure now. Her dad muttered, is this true? Melissa didn't answer. Didn't have to. I turned to leave. Oh, and dinner. I call back. On me. Call a breakup bonus. Jess and I walked out like royalty. The valet didn't even ask for my ticket. He just ran to get the car. We drove off with the windows down and the music loud. Jess laughed so hard she cried. And I felt alive. But oh, this story ain't over. Because the fallout, the real chaos, was waiting for us back home. The flight home was eerily peaceful. Jess and I grabbed early boarding. She slept half the flight. I just stared out the window, letting the last few days replay in my head like a greatest hits album of chaos, pettiness, and long overdue self-respect. We landed in Charlotte, grabbed coffee, and went our separate ways. No drama, no weirdness. Just a kiss on the cheek, a thanks for being amazing, and a call me if you need to raise hell again. That woman was the patron saint of revenge. But as soon as I turned my phone back on, ding, 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 ding. I had 43 messages. Melissa, her mom, her dad, Sarah, even a random number I didn't recognize. Probably Eli using a burner phone like some off-brand spy. Here's a sample of what I woke up to. Melissa, you humiliated me in front of my family. Do you have any idea how cruel that was? Me. Not as cruel as planning your exit behind my back while smiling in my face. Her mom, you've always been unstable, but this is beyond immature. You embarrassed all of us. Me, y'all left me alone at dinner. Consider this a belated RSVP. Her dad, you disrespected my daughter. Me, she disrespected herself. I just held up a mirror. But the best one? Sarah, LMAO, bro, you really aired it all out. I mean, I'm mad, but I also respect the chaos. Honestly, I didn't know what to do with that one. That girl's loyalty shifts faster than TikTok trends. Later that day, Melissa came by the house. Let me set the scene. I was in the garage, changing the oil in my neighbor's Mustang. He pays me in beer and barbecue. Grease on my hands, hoodie on, totally in my zone. Then she pulled up, didn't even knock. Walked straight in like she still owned the place. Can we talk? She said. I leaned out from under the car. About what? The fake yoga classes or your detailed escape plan? She winced. It wasn't what you think. Oh, I stood up, wiping my hands on a rag. So you didn't write that you wanted to test emotional detachment before deciding whether to stay married? She stared at the floor. You humiliated me, she finally said. I laughed. You humiliated us. You invited your family to watch me get erased. I just returned the favor. But louder. Then she tried the pity card. I was scared, Zach. I didn't know how to tell you. You've been distant lately. Distant? I said. You mean working 60 hours a week to keep us afloat? Distant like fixing your mom's plumbing at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. Silence. You weren't scared, I added. You were calculating. You thought if you kept smiling long enough, I'd stay dumb and easy to leave. Then she started to cry. Of course. But I didn't move. I didn't comfort. Not this time. Just sign the papers when they come in, I said. And tell your buddy Eli he can have your emotional baggage. I'm done carrying it. She left without another word. That night, I sat on the back porch, beer in hand, finally breathing for the first time in months. And that's when the messages started again, but this time from people I didn't expect. People from her office. One of them said, Hey man, you don't know me, but I work with Melissa. That Eli guy? He's done this before. Oh yeah, you already know what's coming. I was still riding that weird wave, the one that comes right after you nuke your own life and realize you're actually fine. Peaceful even. Then I got that message. It came from a guy named Brent. No profile pic. Generic name. Honestly, I almost ignored it. Brent, 9:32 p.m. Hey man, you don't know me. I work at Redacted with Melissa. I saw your name in an HR report. I think you should know. Eli's not who she thinks he is. Excuse me? I replied. What kind of report? Brent. Look, I shouldn't even be messaging you. But this isn't the first time Eli's done this. He hooked up with another married coworker last year. Same pattern. Flirty yoga lessons, work dinners, private chats. She divorced her husband, and then Eli ghosted her like a coward. I felt my spine straighten. Brent can't. It's kind of a joke around here. We call him the relationship reaper. He gets off on wrecking homes. No one reports him because he's charming AF and HR's toothless. Oh, and just FYI, he's also been texting a new girl lately. Not Melissa. I read that last line twice. Then I leaned back and laughed. Not a sarcastic laugh. Not angry. Not bitter. Relieved. Because for the first time since this whole disaster started, I realized Melissa got played too. And damn, that felt good. Don't get me wrong. She's still responsible for betraying me. Still chose to lie, cheat emotionally, and plan her little silent exit. But knowing that the smug jerk she was risking everything for was already scouting his next disaster, that was poetic justice. So I did what any decent ex-husband-to-be would do. I forwarded the messages to Melissa. No commentary, no insults, just the screenshots and a little note. Turns out your escape plan was a dead end. Good luck with that. An hour later, my phone rang. Melissa, decline. 5 minutes later, text after text after text. You sent this? What? He's not like that. He told me she was the one who chased him. Why are you still trying to hurt me? I just left her on read. And then another message came in, this time from a woman. Name, Marissa H. Subject, you don't know me, but we have a cheating yoga instructor in common. I opened it. Hi, I'm Marissa. I was the woman Eli dated last year. Brent said you might be going through something similar. I just wanted to tell you. I know it hurts now, but you dodged a massive bullet. That man nearly ruined my life. He said all the right things until I signed the divorce papers, and then he disappeared. Took me months to realize it wasn't about me. It was about the thrill. Melissa might still be in that fog. I was too. Just don't let her drag you back in if she tries. I made that mistake. I stared at the message for a long time, because suddenly the story flipped. Melissa didn't just hurt me. She got hurt too. But I didn't feel pity. I felt distance. That was her mess now. I was already moving on. Later that week, Sarah, her TikTok sister, messaged me with a simple, messy line. Bro, you were right about everything. Shit's imploding. Mom's screaming. Melissa's crying. Dad left the house. You know what I replied? Good. Because when you plant chaos, don't be surprised when the storm finally rolls in. A week after the fallout with Eli, just as I was finally settling into some peace, beer on the porch, football in the background, quiet, I got a surprise visitor. Well, not a visitor, an invasion. Melissa's mother showed up, unannounced, uninvited, unapologetic. She pulled up in her oversized Mercedes, wearing those power sunglasses she thinks make her look intimidating. They just make her look like a mean girl reunion reject. She marched to the door like she owned the damn place, rang once, then started knocking like a debt collector on speed. I opened the door with the most deadpan what humanly possible. She didn't waste time. We need to talk, she said, as if I'd asked for a family therapy session. This whole mess has gotten out of hand. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. You mean your daughter cheating on me, humiliating me, and plotting her emotional exit like a Bond villain? Her jaw tightened. Melissa made mistakes. No, Melissa made plans. Don't sugarcoat betrayal, Janet. Yes, I used her first name. She hates that. Then she did the thing toxic people always do when they're losing control. She blamed me. If you weren't always so cold, so unavailable, maybe she wouldn't have looked elsewhere. I actually laughed in her face. Not even a chuckle. Full-on bark of disbelief. You raised a manipulative coward, Janet. She got played by a discount yoga gigolo, and now you're here to blame me? I didn't leave her a restaurant. I didn't write breakup plans to someone behind her back. I didn't embarrass her in public. She opened her mouth again, and I slammed the door. Didn't even let her finish. 5 minutes later, she sent me a text. This family has always supported you. We took you in like our own, and now you treat us like trash. I replied, funny. I remember being left out, mocked, and treated like a seat filler for family photos. You didn't take me in. You tolerated me like a houseplant you kept forgetting to water. I should have left it there. But no, I had one final card up my sleeve. See, earlier that week, Sarah, the sister-in-law, had called me. Drunk, rambling, maybe guilty, maybe just bored. But in that mess of a call, she said something interesting. Something that clicked into place once I thought it over. Apparently, Melissa's mom was the one who pushed her to test her feelings for Eli. Literally encouraged her to have a discreet fling before pulling the plug. Sometimes women need to know what they're missing before they commit forever, she allegedly said. You want to play dirty, Janet? Let's roll. So, I typed up an anonymous tip and sent it to Melissa's workplace HR department. Full screenshots of the email threads between Melissa and Eli, and a polite inquiry. Hi. Not sure if your policy allows management's family members to influence internal relationships, but Melissa Jennings' mother has reportedly encouraged her daughter's extramarital affair with a coworker. Thought you'd want this for your records, given the current atmosphere. No name, no return address, just enough fire to burn a few toes. 2 days later, Melissa texted me. You reported me to HR? Are you insane? Me? No. I'm just done being the only one who ever plays by the rules. Her. This could ruin my career. Me. Actions have consequences. Welcome to adulthood. The next week, Melissa got suspended pending investigation. Eli got let go quietly, per office gossip. And Melissa's mom? She had the audacity to try and threaten me with a lawyer. Until I calmly reminded her I still had dozens of recorded voicemails of her mocking my family and calling me Zach the Paycheck. That shut her up real fast. But I wasn't done. Because the best revenge isn't just public. It's permanent. You know what's better than revenge? Revenge with catering. Here's how it happened. Every summer, I throw a backyard party for my friends. Barbecue, cold beer, music, cornhole. The usual American suburban therapy session. This year, I wasn't going to cancel it just because my marriage turned into a flaming dumpster. No, I was going to upgrade it. I invited everyone. Friend from work, neighbors, a few old college buddies, even Jess, who made a dramatic entrance in a sundress and boots that could stop traffic. But I also invited Melissa. No sarcasm, no threats, just a short, polite text. Hey, annual party's still on. You're invited. Bring whoever you want. Should be fun. She didn't reply, so I figured she wouldn't show. I was wrong. 2 hours into the party, and she walks. Alone. No Eli. Guess he's too busy emotionally ghosting his next victim. Melissa looked off. Makeup done, hair perfect, but her eyes? Empty, like someone trying to play normal but forgetting the lines. I smiled when I saw her. You made it, I said. She nodded. Didn't think it'd be this many people. Oh, you'd be surprised how many folks show up when you don't lie to them for years. She didn't laugh, but everyone else did. Then came the speech. Yeah, I made a speech. Not long, not dramatic. Just the kind of thing people expect from a host, only with a twist. I stood on the patio table, tapped my glass. Hey y'all, just want to say thanks for coming. This year's been wild. Everyone chuckled. But I've learned a few things. Like, who you marry isn't always who you stay married to. And who you trust. Sometimes they're just auditioning for betrayal. Dead silence. Melissa's face? Pale. But I'm lucky. Lucky to have friends who stuck by me. Lucky to find out the truth before I wasted another year. I looked directly at her. And lucky that what started as heartbreak turned into freedom. Mic drop. Jess raised her glass. Others followed. The cheers weren't loud, but they were real. Melissa left 20 minutes later. She didn't say goodbye. 2 days later, I filed the papers. Clean. Cold. Direct. My lawyer made it clear. I wasn't asking for anything but a clean split. No revenge, alimony. No drama over property. I didn't want her money, her furniture, or the ugly painting her mom gave us that always made our living room feel haunted. But I did want the dog. Max. She tried to argue. I raised him too. I just looked at her. Then you should have thought of that before planning your exit strategy, like a CEO dumping a failing branch. The judge didn't even blink. Max stayed with me. Melissa finally signed the papers on a Tuesday. She didn't look me in the eye. She showed up late, hair messy, eyeliner smudged. I almost felt bad. But then I remembered the email, the dinner, the way she laughed with her family after ditching me. Nope, no sympathy left in this tank. After court, she tried small talk. I shut it down. Melissa, I said, I meant my vows. You meant your backup plan. We're not the same. And I walked. Didn't look back. It's been 3 months now. Jess and I still talk. We're not dating, not yet. She's doing her own thing. And I'm rediscovering what life feels like when it's mine. Max and I go on long walks. I picked up carpentry again. I even started coaching Little League, which is wild because I don't even like kids. But something about helping them not suck at baseball makes me feel human. Melissa tried reaching out twice. Blocked. Sarah started dating a Twitch streamer and posts cryptic quotes like, real recognizes real. Whatever the hell that means. Melissa's mom? Rumor is she tried to repair her image at her country club, but someone leaked the story, the whole story, and now she's basically social kryptonite. And me? I sleep better now. No lies. No second guessing. No pretending I'm happy while being slowly erased from my own life. Some stories don't need a happy ending. They just need an exit. And I took mine. head held high, peace in my pocket, and a middle finger, save for the people who thought I'd stay quiet. Spoiler, I didn't.